Welcome to the Veterans Impact Show, where our commitment is to help, hope, and healing of our veteran family and our nation. I'm Jim Blythe, a U.S. Navy veteran and a certified senior advisor. Join us as we continue the mission of leadership and commitment to our communities and our great country. Why, you never know where we're going to go or who you're going to meet. We invite you to join in, plug in, and share in what we do. This is your Veterans Impact Show. Welcome aboard, and we've got a great program for you today. And I got to tell you, Cedric, my co-host, great minister, great marriage counselor, and boy, you look so dapper and great. I'll tell you, you raised the bar. We're gonna have to start wearing,
I'm just trying to keep up with you, Jim.
Oh.
I'm just trying to keep up with you, buddy.
I want to say a special thank you to the DBTV Network and AUN out in California for all they do for us, for putting us on Saturday morning at 11 and Tuesdays at 7. I got to tell you, we really enjoy working with those guys, and it's great. A special thank you also to my company, Fairway Independent Mortgage. My NMLS number is 311548, and the corporate one is 2289, and I'm a mortgage specialist with Fairway. Also, Symbios Integrative Health, and all they do for keeping healthy veterans moving forward. And then best for the last, our Healing Thine Hearts ministry.
Yes, sir.
Cedric, you do such a phenomenal job. So with all of that, we've got to introduce an old friend who does an amazing job at helping heal veterans. Welcome aboard, General Dees. How are you doing, Bob?
We're doing great. Good to be with both of you, Jim and Cedric. It's fun. I really applaud what you folks do. And your intro mentioned help, hope, and healing. Yes. That's our middle C also. So we look forward to having a good discussion today.
It's always really great. And one of the things I'd like for people to know is you founded and you have a foundation, the National Center for Healthy Veterans. And with that, you've got Valor Farm in Virginia with this program. And this is the startup. This is the first of which you are helping others. You just opened another one in Kentucky. So tell us just a little bit about that, and then we will talk about and give you the update for where you are.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking, Jim. We're basically a national prototype. We're one of the few long-term 9-month residential programs for veterans across America. We haven't found anybody that does exactly what we do. Our distinctives in that regard: dignified work to provide purpose and self-esteem, community to defeat isolation. We live in tiny home communities, and that's a powerful tool because isolation, one of the primary causes of veteran suicide. So that's one of the enemies that we go against. And then we have trauma recovery and life skills program, and we're faith-based unapologetically because that makes a huge difference in this journey of healing for our folks. And then we have various types of therapy. Certainly we have clinical therapy with licensed professional counselors, coaches, case managers, but we also have what the Japanese would call forest bathing, just the therapy of this 339 acres with horses and cattle and all other kinds of animals. And then just the beauty of creation is a type of therapy. Then we have a wood shop for people who really find that their therapy. And we have equine therapy, 10 certified equine therapists. So it's all about helping people heal. People are all different. And we find early on through our assessment process what they'll be responsive to, how we help them, how we promote them. And our ultimate objective is to help them achieve their full God-given potential, get back out on the street, do good things for America. We say we're a crock pot in a microwave society. Some of the challenges of PTSD, traumatic brain injury, moral injury, adverse childhood experiences that are precipitated by military experience, all of those things we deal with on a daily basis, and we help people do a true life reset. Our intellectual property, Jim, is how do we rewire the brain, reshape the heart, restore the soul. Houses are important, horses, all this is important, but those are enablers for the real work in the inner person so that they can live a lifetime beyond this experience with us. That lifetime, ideally, we change their azimuth and we put them on a much more successful glide path. And it's fun to see that happening before our very eyes, Jim.
Attitude equals altitude. And I know one of the things, too, is that you include the family. It's not just necessarily the veterans. And I know, Cedric, you've been involved. That's how I met General Dees, is through you.
Well, General Dees and I, we're both part of the International Christian Coaching Institute. We're part of their board, and it's an honor to be engaged with people like General Dees. General Dees, I wanted to ask you in reference to your center, how does a veteran, how does a person get to be involved, right? They can't just walk up and sign up. How do they get to be involved?
Well, thanks for asking, Cedric. Actually, a fellow last week, he walked up, he was driving his car 100 miles an hour on the highway past our sign. He was trying to find a tree to wrap himself around.
Wow.
So that tells you a lot. And he saw our place. He came down, screeched to a halt, cloud of dust, got out and started talking pretty vigorously without meaning in our headquarters. And one of our veterans, who's a mentor, a Marine gunny, put his hand on him, on his arm, and he said, "You are safe now." And you could just see that veteran relax a bit. He no longer wanted to kill himself. And then a big bear hug from that same gunny. And now that person, after a couple of days of TLC from us, we have expedited his request, and he is enrolled in our program. I was with him and all the other Patriots last night. So that's the way it happens sometimes in extremis.
Okay.
Normally, we have a veteran care council. People refer veterans to us through our website primarily, or through personal knowledge of what we do. And we get referrals from anxious moms and dads. We get referrals from VSOs, referrals from social service organizations, referrals from the criminal justice system. And we bring these folks in after we do due diligence, FBI background check, medical records, et cetera.
General Dees, why don't we go ahead and play your update, Jordan, if you can help us out with that, so that we got a better idea. And this is on your website, so people can go to healthyveterans.org and find this. So let's play it. Thank you.
There is no words that anyone can ever describe how humbled we are to live in the greatest nation in the world. And it's because of you.
Nowhere to go, no home, no job, no direction in my life. God opened the door for me to go through this program.
I've had a lot of demons in my life, but they've showed me God. They showed me what I'm capable of and helped me find my identity.
off at farm, I was saying, yeah, we're going to go and we're going to drop Derek off so he can heal. He can go through this program. He can have time to really deal with the trauma and deal with hurt. And little did I know how much this process was for me as well.
Our mantra is returning healthy veterans to America. We want them to go be part of America because America needs our veterans now more than ever before.
That is the sort of program that we here, Cedric and I, really embrace and want to talk to you about. Let me make a point to something else, if I could, General Dees.
Sure.
When you make a statement that veterans are important to America, what a lot of people don't know going back in history is after World War II, the veterans that came back to the United States understood management, understood leadership, understood logistics, understood a lot of things other than just combat.
Right.
But they also learned to adapt, improvise, overcome, get things done, which are the character traits of veterans today. Veterans lead the way. They always have. When you go back, some of our greatest leaders have been veterans. So this is important all the way down to the core of those who have been injured and can return to be those kind of leaders.
Right.
And General Dees, you wanted to talk about some of these gentlemen that you had on this who made statements. Could you tell us about that?
Oh, of course. Yeah, thanks, Jim. And I agree with your premise on veterans. We say that they're an untapped national treasure, we need them in society as role models and so forth. You saw a person, the first veteran you saw was a guy named Chris. Chris was incarcerated for over a decade. And when he came to our program, the probationary people said, okay, we'll put him in your program instead of him serving longer. He came to us, and it was a roller coaster at first. You have a lot of difficult reflexes that you've developed while you're imprisoned like that, incarcerated. And we helped him get past some of that. Now he's gone full circle. He's graduated, and he's our community center manager. So he's a guy that's giving back to others, comforting others with that which he's been comforted. And then the next fellow was a guy named Kevin. Kevin tried to hang himself and put a rope over the tree limb, and the tree limb broke. And so he came back here. He knew that we were a safe place. We really did suicide watch for 3 weeks. And then he dove into the Word of God for one of the first times in his life. And it was amazing because he says after that 3 weeks, God reshaped his heart. And soon after that, he was baptized in the Big Otter River on the periphery of where on our property. And then he now is our maintenance supervisor. So, and then a third one, likewise, previously suicidal, Marine. All these guys have seen a lot of combat. He is now our market manager. So we hadn't planned it, but these guys are just coming full circle. And some of them are good enough. We just want to keep them on our own bench. And then others, we have a fellow that was Chubby Checker's first son. He was homeless for 15 years, living in a tent. And he just came, he graduated. He has a job as a breakfast chef at a high-end restaurant. Good job, good house, a car. And so we're happy with these folks that are coming full circle. We say from dark to light. We're really seeing people go from dark to light and from death to life in many cases.
I think that one of the questions that frequently is asked of me is, Jim, why have veterans got so much PTSD? Why do you have these problems? Well, for one of the things that I know from working with integrative medicine with Symbios, that when you go through these traumas, when you go through moral injury, when you're with TBI, it changes the brain chemistry. And in order to recover, you got to be able to sleep at night. You got to be able to get past that. Right. And it takes time, and it takes an environment, and it takes the training, and it takes all of these things. Just like when we were in the military, what did we do all the time? Train, right?
Continually.
Yeah, and you got excellent awards for your maintaining
Right.
of what you did to go into combat as a gunner's mate on the ship. My squadron was probably the lead attack squadron in the Navy, and during Vietnam and the Air War, we had 12 killed in action, but we were always there, always in there. This sort of training is what you're talking about, General Dees. Not only ends the isolation, but helps to change the brain chemistry and the behavior. That's part of, you're providing the help, God's providing the hope, and all together you're providing the healing, correct?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a good way to say it, Jim.
Well, it's really important. It's important, as I said before, to our nation. It's important to our veterans. And it's important as we're going through this transition right now in the United States from a government standpoint, that they understand how important the veterans are to this nation. It's not just we got to take care of veterans. We're taking care of the whole nation, because one of my charges, one of my go-tos has been to say, veterans, there aren't enough out there, so spread yourself out. Be a mentor. Be a grandfather to the grandfatherless. Be a father to the fatherless. We have huge problems now, Cedric, and you know this more than anyone, of single-parent families.
No, there's a lot going on where the need for just a good example is outstanding. And what you guys are promoting, I love the fact that you say your foundational values, right? Dignified work, not just something, not just involved in something, dignified work, community living, right? We have a community. You're no longer this single guy over by yourself, right? And it's a long period of time. This isn't a weekend. Right? This isn't just a week. No, we're going to spend 9 months. There's a transition that happens, and all of it is encompassed with the Word of God. I love that, because that makes a difference. And I love what you said, General Dees. We're unapologetic about it. Too many of us have become, it's like, well, we're going to keep that part of it sort of quiet. Yeah, we're a Christian organization. No, we're very, very proud of it, because things change. It makes all the difference in the world. When you can do there's a lot of good programs, but when you add the Word of God, it makes all the difference in the world.
And that's important. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue this conversation after a break to hear from all of our partners. You're listening to and you're watching the Veterans Impact Show with General Bob Dees, one of the most amazing men that I have ever met. Now, he's also going to be here in Dallas on June the 4th. So we're going to talk more about that when we come back. Let's take a break for all of those people that are helping us out. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Hearts Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Bob, I want to bring up the fact that you are doing multiple events around the United States to bring attention to and to get people to participate and to have financial help. Let me tell you something. Nothing the size of what you're doing is done for free.
That's right.
And you're not, you don't get government assistance either. You need to have people. So please tell us about the June 4th event here in Dallas and the other events you've got coming up where people can go, and how can they also participate?
Sounds good, Jim. Thank you. Well, our website is the key to information on all of these things. Folks can go to our website, healthyveterans.org, and find a little banner there about the Dallas event. June 4th, 6 p.m. at the Hope Center in Plano, Texas. We're grateful to June Hunt and the Home for the Heart and the Hope Center for their assistance with this. Invite you to come. I'll have a graduate or two from the Healthy Veterans Center here, and we'll also have great entertainment, great fun. It'll be an informational and an inspirational evening. Yes, it'll be, my grandmother used to say, many hands make light work. So this will be a fundraiser as well, but we're working to get a large volume of donors across the country, so we don't have to lean so heavily upon any single donors. We look forward to that. Please join us, and you can find the registration link on our website towards the top of the page. We're doing Philadelphia on June 26th, a similar type thing. Joe Piscopo, if you know him from Saturday Night Live and other things, he'll be our MC for that event. So that's always a fun event. And then we have later in the year, I won't go through each, you can find them on our website. There's an events part of that. Palm Beach in the October timeframe. Florida later in the year, about November, December. New York City, we do a thing on New York City Harbor. There's a lot of people around the country that believe in what we're doing, and they, of their own volition, have generated fundraising events. And many times I don't even know until somebody will send us a check, or they'll let me know, and I'll go help them with the event. We'll go as a staff. So we're just grateful for the goodwill all around the country. Now, why are we doing this? As you mentioned, Jim, it's not cheap. Our monthly budget for the veteran care, the counselors, the case managers, and so forth that take care of these veterans is about $28,000 a month, simply for that part of the thing. And then we have farming and ranching and other things that assist us in offsetting some of those costs. So yes, we don't focus though on what we need, because God seems to provide that through wonderful people that believe in veterans, want to help them. We just focus on how we help change lives, and that's really fun to see.
You know, that is when I get to the pearly gates, I hope he says, "Hey, thank you for helping men like General Dees. Thank you for being a good servant." And I'm telling you, for what you do is amazing. Let me mention something else too, but you kind of hit on it, Cedric, and you know more about this than I do. But we've had family members who've been through recovery process. Typically, the insurance company will only pay for 30 days. In 30 days, somebody who's really got trouble,
Right.
doesn't get in, man, they don't even get a start, much less a fresh start. I had someone very close to me that we sent to Virginia, and he was there for 2 months. And the 2 months, the difference between 30 days and 2 months was huge. Now, what you're talking about is 9 months. That's enough time to detox. Now, may not necessarily be alcoholism, may not necessarily be drugs, but it's also the body chemistry, the fight or flight, the adrenaline rushes, all of these things. 9 months is enough time to really get a hold of that and get you moving. And your program is unique in that regard. So you have living spaces. You also have family spaces, correct?
Yes, we do. We have family houses that'll easily house a family of 4 or 5, and we've had that before. Back on what you were saying, Jim, if we don't get the sleep right, if we don't get the nutrition right, if we don't get some type of exercise and movement right, then all of the therapy and things, are not very effective. So we make sure we help them improve their sleep and set the conditions for some of the therapeutic things that we do on their behalf. And regarding families, it's really fun to see these families respond. When we bring a family on board, we don't own the family, but we're responsible for them. And we'll counsel the wife. We'll give the wife also equine therapy, the children equine therapy. It's a lot of fun. These young children have been quite traumatized in many of these families. And as we put them through equine therapy, they start to communicate again. They start to build trust. Then we do it all together as a family. They start building trust together as a family. So we've seen some families come together over the equine therapy and some of the other counseling, and it's fun to see.
General Dees, on your site, it mentions that the veterans create their own personal development plan. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Well, first of all, Cedric, we start with the Great Commandment. The Great Commandment says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength, and your neighbor as yourself. Our paradigm, we reorder those a bit, is PMSER, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, relational. Okay. That PMSER is a means by which we assess people before they come here. They develop a personal development plan, and in each one of those areas, those lines of effort, they develop their own short-term goals along with a mentor that helps them navigate that process, going from short-term goal to short-term goal, and all of a sudden, one boot in front of another, you've really made a lot of change and accomplished some bigger objectives.
You know, General Dees, this is so important. So we're going to take a commercial break in just a second and come back and deep dive a little bit into this, and then talk about some of the success of people, of what they're going into the community and doing. So this is incredibly important that we're talking about. Yours is the prototype program. You are setting this up. You set it up. There's one you just opened in Kentucky.
Right.
And I'm knocking on some doors to see if we can't get one here in North Texas. And I'm not the only one. And I think we find this to be tremendously important. So when we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. This is Veterans Impact Show. We're here for you. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation.
Well, welcome back. This is Pastor Cedric White, co-host here at the Veterans Impact Show, here with Big Jim Blythe, the host, and with our very, very special guest, a very good friend, Major General Bob Dees. He's the CEO of the National Center for Healthy Veterans. General Dees, what you doing, and what has grown from what you began is outstanding. It's a big undertaking, right? Can I ask you, where did the vision come from? I know you had to see, okay, there's a need, but what you're doing specifically, where did that vision come from?
Well, I'll be brief, but when I graduated from West Point, I went to the 101st Airborne. That's what this is behind me. And I had a great time, 45 Screaming Eagle soldiers jumping out airplanes. Life is good. I've been there 3 weeks, and I get a call to go to Sergeant Smitty's house trailer. I go, and Sergeant Smitty had killed himself in the back room. And after the first responders left, I'm there with the young widow and her 4-year-old daughter. And I say, well, how can I help? And she said, well, we hit Easter eggs today. This is the night before Easter. We hit Easter eggs today. And would you come back in the morning and help me and my young daughter gather Easter eggs, and let's give her a normal Easter? Well, that was obviously tragic for her, but it was also tough medicine for me as a young leader. And then 31 years now in uniform all around the world, et cetera. I'm retiring, and it wasn't lost on me that the suicide dynamic was higher than in recorded history, both on the active military, on the veteran side. We have an epidemic basically in America, shouldn't be happening. So that was a real motivation for me. And then one other event I will mention is that I was walking the Vietnam Wall with a Vietnam widow, or that's how she referred to herself. We were walking along and we got to the T's, and she was running her hand around John Thompson, where is he? And I looked at her a little curiously, and she said, oh, John Thompson wasn't killed in Vietnam, but he came home with an expiration date. And immediately I knew what she was referring to. And I looked at that Vietnam Wall. There's been many more suicides over the last decade than there are names on that Vietnam Wall. But I looked at that Vietnam Wall. I saw that as the tip of the iceberg above the waterline. And now we know what icebergs look like below the waterline. That's where a lot of the people that have killed themselves after Vietnam, in that iceberg below, but also families that have been ravaged, people that have not truly recovered, people that have not gotten the help, hope, and healing that they truly deserve as a veteran. And so our job as an organization, yes, we return healthy veterans to America, but first we have to find them. And many times to find them, we have to dive into that iceberg. We march to the pain, and we find people that need what we have, and then we bring them life. So all of that is what motivates us, motivated me as a young officer, and motivates me today. We simply can't have our veterans taking their own lives, or many of the other injuries, physical, mental, moral, spiritual, relational injuries they suffer from as a result of serving their nation.
Well, let me commend you, General Dees, number one, for not just, okay, I went and I did what would be considered a great service, serving the family that had lost the soldier, but to keep that at heart and remember there's so many more, right? Everybody can't do what you're doing as General Dees, but everybody can support your efforts so that your services can go further. And I think that's what we're talking about, Jim,
Yes.
right? Making sure that the upcoming events on June 4th and those afterwards have the support that you need so you can continue doing. Everybody doesn't have the wherewithal and the mindset, but they can support you in doing this.
Absolutely. And it's, again, I make this point. It's not just about veterans. Bob, you made a comment that we've got a national epidemic of suicide in this nation. Cedric, you told me about you had heard of a child as young as 8.
8 years old.
8
Yes.
years old. I think we can put a whole lot of things in the basket and say, this causes it, this causes it, this causes it, this causes it. The cause is there. How do we get out of it? And I think that one of the things you've done is by piloting this 9-month program, which gets people into an environment and working together. And I got to tell you, I believe in the word. I am an ordained chaplain. I believe that is what is taught in the Bible, whether it's Proverbs, whether it's through Psalms. These are things that get your mind right.
Right.
Remember that
Right.
that thing out of the movie, Get Your Mind Right, Boss? Well, with the general in front, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to always be trying to get my mind right. And you have set the stage. You have set the
Yes.
parameters for building new programs. And this one thing, it's not just veterans. I keep making this point. Look at our neighborhoods.
Right.
Look at our families. Look at our nation. We took the Bible out of classrooms, but you know what? We're putting it into prisons. I get involved in, have been involved in a prison ministry in the past. We get invited all the time. Cedric, you've done
Yes,
that as
all
well.
the time.
We've got to bring back to this nation being one nation under God.
Can I say this, Jim?
Please.
We won't turn this into a preaching session, but what we can say is that the word makes a difference. When we took
Yes.
it out of school, it made a difference, right? What you're doing, General Dees, it's making a difference, right? Making it a part of your site says you guys bring forth a peaceful rhythm of work. I love that, right? Bringing peace back. So many people have lost the understanding and the true meaning and the value of what peace does, and implementing the word of God in the midst of the predictable, I like what you say, the predictable, peaceful rhythm of work, play, learning, and healing. It makes all the difference in the world. There's power,
it does.
literally, in
Yeah.
the Bible. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
It's as you know, it's a privilege to promote the Word of God, and even more of a privilege to observe the impact in people's
Yes.
lives. To see some of these folks that never had a stitch of faith or belief come to our place, and then they recognize the relevance. They sense the affirmation and the love of our staff. We don't always talk about Jesus,
Right.
but the presence is pervasive.
Right.
And as they're here and as they go through the classes and day in and day out, this focus, it changes lives, as you would appreciate. We try to develop different reflexes. For instance, with trauma, there was a Swiss theologian, Bernier. He said, "We fall the way we lean," and that's so true. So
like
we
that.
help people lean in the right direction, so that when they inevitably fall, as we all do, accidents, their own sinfulness, etc., at least they're leaning in the right direction. They've learned the right tools, so now their ability to be resilient, to bounce back, if you will, is far greater than ever before, and they're able to navigate the challenges of life that previously they could not navigate, that would throw them off, that would disrupt their total emotional regulation. So once they learn the tools and techniques that are biblically based, they're much more able to respond to the challenges of their military past, but also their civilian future. And it's good to see. I say, you know, they're an untapped national treasure, Jim. You heard that. But also, I think America needs her veterans now more than ever before, as you pointed out.
Absolutely. And one of the things that Diane and I have signed up, and we videotape, and we're instructors, and I've actually been able to teach a class or two to Sea Cadets. Sea Cadets is the U.S. Navy's program for youth and youth development and leadership. Air Force has got one called Civil Air Patrol, I believe, if that's correct. Young Marines has got one. Army has got the ROTC programs. These youth programs are bringing so much to the table to help these kids and help these families. And that's, again, part of a military to give you that structure. I think without a doubt, our nation got off track during the Vietnam era, because that's my era. That's where I was there. I think now we've got to continue to get on track. And for those that are naysayers and say bad things about religion, I just say, take a look around you. Take a look around you.
Well, what do we say, Jim? Okay, a lot of people, I personally, I avoid religion. What I don't avoid is a relationship with God, with the Creator, right? Because religion will get you into a lot of different places and a lot of rules. And again, what we want people to have, what people are experiencing, even when they come to your center, General Dees, they're going to experience the relationship. You said something that is imperative, and that is, we're not preaching at you. Every word out of our mouth isn't Jesus, 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 right? But I tell people all the time, action speaks louder than words, and attitude speaks louder than actions. So now, if my action and my attitude is about the love of Christ, then I don't even have to quote it. I don't have to say it. All I have to do is be it, and you will experience it.
Well, one of the other things, General Dees, and I know you have, and I have talked about this in the past, there has been especially Vietnam, there was a prejudice against us when we came home. There are less and less veterans out there today. So in some places, people are standoffish to veterans. We as veterans need to be engaged in the community. We need to be healed. As you have said several times, this is one of the most important resources we have. So that's why I'm encouraging people, number one, go to the website, thehealthyveterans.org. Take a look at it. Watch this. No, those are real people. This is not staged. And know that what they're doing is truly amazing. The other side of that coin is participate, be a part. Hey, you don't have to give $100,000. Maybe you don't have the capability to give more than $10, but give something. As well as when you encounter a veteran or you encounter a veteran's family that's in trouble, say, hey, take a look, healthyveterans.org. We want you to be a part of this. This is a national movement. I want to say, hey, let's have a revival.
Amen.
And the revival is to have not only healthy veterans, but healthy Americans.
Yeah, healthy families. Yeah.
Healthy families. Yes.
Yes, we need that.
Jim, one of the points is that the at-risk veterans that we really can help don't always beat our door down. Sometimes they're hidden in their parents' basement playing video games. Maybe they're in prison. Maybe they've gone into the woodwork, possibly homeless and other things of the community. So we seek to also enlist scouts all across the nation, scouts to provide, just as you said, referrals so that we can identify these people that need help, aren't beating our door down. But once we get them helped, then they help others. Then there's a ripple effect in their communities, positive. And we also avoid the social downsides that occur when veterans aren't on track or they're homeless. So all of these are positives. And I just ask people to be our scouts around the country. Help us identify, go to our website, refer a veteran. There's a button on the top. And let's help more people together.
And June the 4th is very important. I'm going to tell you why. North Texas now has the largest VA healthcare system in the United States. North Texas has been a job mecca for many, many, many people. There are so many opportunities here in North Texas, in the DFW area. Everything from Fort Worth and Lockheed Martin to working with children, to working in schools, to insurance companies, to call centers, you name it. It's a mecca for veterans. And I have no earthly idea how many 100,000 veterans we've got. It used to be about 450. Now my guess it's around 600.
Probably right.
So we are a place for veterans to come together and have an impact, to bring other veterans from other parts of the United States, because we are so centrally located. Now, we don't have the beautiful Virginia hills. We haven't got our Trinity River is kind of not very navigable unless you're an alligator. So I got to tell you, but we are a place. And so June the 4th is so important to me, and I'm going to be there. And we're bringing some people there that we want to introduce you to. We've got a table. And we believe so much in this that this is, in my opinion, critical.
Exactly. It is. I even love.
Well, you know, Jim, I'm a Texan. I was born in Amarillo, Texas, grew up in Houston, lived in Austin, and I come back to Dallas and Fort Worth frequently. And we have some Texas boys currently at the farm, at Valor Farm. And so I always love to take care of Texans. One that has a master's from Texas A&M. I was talking to him last night. He's just been in the program for 4 days. So we love to take care of Texans, but I'm also would love to come to Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's find the person or the team that wants to do the same thing in Dallas, Fort Worth area and tap all that great potential that you're talking about. The VA is great, but I'm convinced that it takes a public-private partnership that link arms and that truly provide care for all of our veterans. You know, the VA only tracks about 30% of our veterans. It's in direct contact with them. So our private organizations have got to get these people out of the woodwork, and together we need to help them.
Yes, and one of the things that we've done is the Symbiosis Integrative Health has worked to deal with Sheriff Bill Wayburn, and we're now working with also Collin County Sheriff Jim Skinner. And we're going to be in there treating, but we are going to go into the jails and talk to the veterans, talk to the inmates, help them out. This is important. So we need to go that deep, right, as well as we need to go into under the bridges. We need to find those veterans, go to the Union Gospel Missions and say, hey, we got something for you. And it's just right here in North Texas. You don't have to go to Virginia. I think that could take a lot of the consternation out of that for people. So again, we want to send people, your website is healthyveterans.org, correct?
You got it.
Thank you. And we want you to know it, and then come to our June the 4th deal, take a look at it. If you have a question, call me. When we come back from this break, we're going to give you some more directions about where to go and be a part of this movement, a part of this revival. You suppose they need a couple of loudmouth guys to help them with the revival part?
We can help them with that.
We can help them with that. All right. We're Veterans Impact Show, and we're right here for you. We're going to be back in just a minute. Please take a listen to our partners that help us: Fairway Independent Mortgage, Symbiosis Integrative Health, Healing Thine Hearts Ministries, and our very, very special guest and our very special charity that we support, which is Healing Center for Healthy Veterans. National Center. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Hearts Ministry, and Symbiosis Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Well, Cedric, this is great. You know what? Diane just put up a deal. My beautiful wife, she is the brains behind this.
Engineer, producer, she's doing stuff.
And she puts up, there are 1.4 million plus veterans in the state of Texas.
And that was in 2022.
Yeah.
So it's probably more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to figure we got Oklahoma as well. Mm-hmm. We got Fort Sill up in Lawton, Oklahoma, where they fire big guns. Down in Fort Cavazos, they're running around in tanks. We've got Air Force bases.
Yes.
We've got the Joint Reserve Base here. I got to tell you, we've got a lot of military in Texas, and we are here for you guys. So one of the things I was going to ask you, General Dees, and we're getting close to the time you need to go to be a part of a thing. If there is one person that you could say to me, Jim, this guy, or this gal, or this family, you mentioned Chubby Checker's son. Is there one person you could say, this guy is doing so much now because of our program?
Yeah, I may go beyond one guy, but we have a graduate who was previously suicidal, who now running our market. I mentioned he has started a church.
All right.
Wow.
We have it's amazing. We have one graduate that's in his final couple of months with us. He'll graduate shortly. He has determined he's going to be a pastor in a church, and he's already been picked up by a church in Kentucky, which is his home state, to in fact be an associate pastor and a preacher for them. So that's powerful. Another fella is a very talented welder, both industrial welding and artistic welding. And we're establishing a limited liability corporation underneath him. We'll co-partner with him, do revenue sharing. And so we're trying to give him a jump start in the welding business. He's very talented, industrial and artistic. We have another fellow, I mentioned Chubby Checker's son. Well, he's not just in a cook in a restaurant. He is under Chef Scholey, who has cooked for 2 presidents of the United States. Chef Scholey is a CW5 in the U.S. Army. And Chef Scholey recently retired, is the main chef at this high-end restaurant in Lynchburg, Virginia. And he has taken on our gentleman, not just to give him a job, but also to mentor him and continue on the way. And Jack has already been promoted. And as I said, he's got all the other essentials of life. And so he's just a new person. You know, it says in Corinthians, if any man is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, the new has come, and we see the old pass away and the new has come in so many lives. And so those are stories. I have a hard time keeping it to one, Jim.
Well, I also want to mention, and you've got your drawing painting behind you, the 101st Airborne, probably one of the most historical divisions of the United States military. And I go past Navy and Army and all that. Everybody has heard of the Screaming Eagles. Now, were they called Screaming because you were jumping out of perfectly good airplanes?
It could be, Jim. I'm not for sure. It could have been all the screams at the first or second jump.
Yeah.
The second jump was always the worst. The first jump, you didn't know what to expect. The second jump, you knew what to expect. May I tell you, do you have time for a brief story about this picture behind me?
Not much, but please do.
Okay, well, I was in Holland. I had the privilege with the 101st Airborne of jumping at the 50th anniversary of Operation Market Garden in Eindhoven, Holland. Same time, same drop zone. I jumped, I collected my parachute, and this Dutch lady came up and grabbed me around the legs, and she was crying. We got a translator, and she told the story about how the Germans would capture at least one father a day in the town of Eindhoven to keep the Dutch underground in line. And oftentimes they would execute that father midday. She had tears of whatever, and then all of a sudden she became joyful, still crying. And she said, "We saw you. We saw that patch, that eagle on your shoulder." And then she said, "And you saved my life. He had been captured on that day. He was to be executed, and you saved my father's life." And so that was pretty profound, obviously. And then I would add, and we reunited a family. And we started unhinging a whole continent from an evil empire, and we liberated the country of Holland. Now, if you talk to those veterans in that 1944 combat action and say, "You're heroes," what would they say? Well, we all know. They'd say, "I was just doing my job." Mm-hmm. So our veterans, over the course of our nation's history, by putting one boot in front of another, one dusty, bloody combat boot, have saved lives, reunited families, liberated countries, and unhinged the whole continent, in this case of Europe, from an evil empire. That's why our veterans are so valuable to us, so to be honored, and so to be that we all can give them help, hope, and healing so they can continue to help America as only they can do.
Bob, thank you. I know you've got to go to an event, so we're going to say God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob.
We want everybody to know about this. So again, go to healthyveterans.org, take a look, be supportive, be a part of this. Also, if you're a young man or woman and you're trying to make up your mind what you want to do with your life, take a look at Sea Cadets, take a look at ROTC, take a look at scholarship programs to get you in school. Take a look at the military as a place to become one of the greats. And
Contact
here is
us.
great
We'll
men.
even talk to you.
Huh?
Contact us. We'll even talk to you.
Yes, we'll talk to you. Well, we can contact by somebody in our church. So this is great. Cedric, we always close with a prayer. And I think today it's your turn.
All right.
So we got 1 minute left.
I can do it. I can do it. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that's done, all those who volunteer. We thank you for people like General Dees and the National Center for Healthy Veterans. Continue to bless them, give them what they need. Continue to bless us as we try to help our veterans. Father, keep this country one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Absolutely. And participate with veteran service organizations. If you've got a friend that's a veteran and they're isolating, go get them out and let's get them into events.
Yes.
Bring them to the June the 4th at the Hope Center, which is a fabulous facility, thanks to June Hunt. Be a part of the revolution and the evolution of what we can do to help not only healthy veterans, but help healthy Americans.
Yes.
So Cedric, what a great day. And we got another program coming up and we're going to have a tremendous opportunity. Stay with us, share with us, enjoy. This is Veterans Impact Show. We're here for you.